skin crawling sensation called formication. It feels like bugs on your skin, but nothing's there. This comes from nerve signal misfires, often linked to stress, fatigue, or changes in brain chemistry. The brain receives confusing input and fills in the sensation. The stomach sneeze reflex. Some people sneeze after eating a large meal. A stretched stomach may stimulate the vagus nerve, which connects digestion and breathing reflexes. The signal crosses into the sneeze center by mistake. Rare, harmless, and very weird. Eye floaters. Small clumps of collagen inside the gel of your eye cast shadows on the retina. They drift when your eyes move and never fully disappear. Your vision isn't broken. The lens just has internal debris, eye twitching, or myokymia. Tiny involuntary muscle contractions around the eyelid, usually caused by stress, fatigue, or too much caffeine. The nerve fires repeatedly even though you didn't ask it to. Charlie horse leg cramps. A sudden painful contraction, often in the calf. Caused by dehydration, electrolyte imbalance, or muscle overuse. The muscle receives a contraction signal but fails to release it. Muscle twitches, called fasciculations. Small muscle fibers contract randomly due to nerve firing noise. Most of the time, they're harmless and temporary. Just background static in the nervous system. Photic sneeze reflex. You walk into bright sunlight and immediately sneeze. This happens because the optic nerve and trigeminal nerve are close together, shivering. When it's cold, your muscles start making tiny rapid movements to generate heat. That part makes sense. The glitch is that shivering can also happen when you're scared, anxious, or overwhelmed. That's because the same nervous system pathway controls temperature response and stress response. Your body can't always tell the difference between freezing weather and emotional threat, so it activates the same defense mechanism for both. Sneezing fits with no allergen. You start sneezing even though there's no dust, pollen, or irritation. This happens when the trigeminal nerve, which controls sensation in your face, gets overstimulated. Cold air, bright light, or even sudden emotional stress can trigger it. The sneeze reflex fires even though there's no real threat. Sensory input and motor response stop lining up, and the reflex activates on its own. Pins and needles, also called paresthesia. You sit on your leg too long, then stand up and it feels like your limb forgot how to exist. Pressure temporarily cuts off blood flow or compresses a nerve. When circulation returns, nerve signals fire all at once instead of smoothly. The tingling isn't damage. It's your nervous system rebooting after signal interruption. Teeth chattering. When you're cold, your jaw muscles contract rhythmically to generate heat, just like shivering. But strong emotions like fear or anxiety can trigger it too. Your nervous system treats psychological stress as physical danger. It sends the same command either way. Ear popping. Changes in altitude or pressure cause your eustachian tubes to open and equalize pressure in the middle ear. Sometimes they overcorrect or lag behind, causing repeated popping or muffled hearing. It's a pressure regulation glitch, not a hearing problem. Jaw popping or clicking. The jaw joint, called the temporomandibular joint, is complex and heavily used. If the disc inside shifts or the joint moves unevenly, it can click or pop when you open your mouth. It's a mechanical misalignment, like a hinge snapping back into place. That stomach drop sensation. Elevators, roller coasters, or sudden falls make your organs shift slightly inside your body. They lag behind your movement for a fraction of a second. Your brain detects the mismatch and triggers a gut reaction. No danger, just internal timing delay. Ear ringing or tinnitus. You hear a high-pitched sound even in silence. This happens when auditory neurons fire without external input. The brain fills in missing sensory information instead of staying silent. It's internally generated sound, not something around you. Hiccups. You're sitting quietly, maybe in a meeting, and suddenly your diaphragm jerks on its own. A hiccup is a sudden spasm of the diaphragm, the muscle just below your lungs, followed by your vocal cords snapping shut. That's what creates the hic sound. It can be triggered by eating too fast, carbonated drinks, or sudden temperature changes. But sometimes there's no clear trigger at all. That's because the signal comes from the brainstem, one of the oldest parts of the brain. When it misfires, the diaphragm reacts instantly. It's not harmful, just outdated reflex wiring doing something it no longer needs to do. Goosebumps. You feel cold, scared, or emotionally moved, and your skin suddenly tightens. Goosebumps happen when tiny muscles at the base of hair follicles contract. This reflex helped our ancestors trap heat and appear larger to predators. Today, it still activates during emotional spikes or temperature drops. The response works perfectly. The situation just doesn't require it anymore. Motion sickness. You're on a bus looking at your phone and suddenly your stomach flips. Your inner ear senses motion, but your eyes report stillness. Your brain tries to reconcile the mismatch and fails. It assumes something is wrong, historically interpreted as poisoning or hallucination. The result is nausea, dizziness, and cold sweats. It's not one system failing, it's multiple systems disagreeing at the same time. Brain freeze. You take a bite of ice cream, and suddenly it feels like pain explodes in your forehead. What's actually happening is that cold touches the roof of your mouth and rapidly changes blood flow in nearby blood vessels. Those vessels constrict and then expand too quickly. The brain misinterprets the signal and thinks the pain is coming from your head instead of your mouth. It's a signal routing error. Mouth pain gets mapped as head pain, creating a short but intense sensory glitch. So how many of these glitches have you experienced? Let me know in the comments. So don't forget to like, subscribe to Doodle Facts too, and thanks for watching till the end.